Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. You know what time it is. It is the day after the night before, and Chelsea registered all 3 points against Potter and his West Ham side on his first visit to Stamford Bridge since, of course, leaving 2 years ago now, I think it is. Pedro Neto and a Wan-Bissaka own goal by way of a Cole Palmer shot saw out, Bowen's very good finish, I will say. But Bowen's goal that was brought to us, or brought to him, rather, by a lovely assist from Levi Colwill. Levi Colwill, the speak, or the talk of the town at the moment, and not in a good way. I've seen people defending him. I've seen people doing the opposite. Myself, leaning more towards the opposite. But I'm still very keen on him. Not right now. I think he's going through a bit of a Robert Sanchez phase, where we've seen glimpses. We really have, and there are certain aspects to his game, his size, his presence on the ball and whatnot. Didn't really work out for him in this game. I was saying literally like 5-10 seconds before the goal, maybe it was like a couple of minutes before the goal, that I just don't feel comfortable when he's on the ball. I don't feel comfortable when he's not on the ball. The only time I feel comfortable is with his forward passing. His passing, obviously one of, if not the strongest aspects of his game. It certainly isn't his defence, because, we've seen firsthand what can happen when he is trying to defend, constantly out of position, constantly caught out of possession, and it just never bodes well, really. When you see Colwill is the nearest defender to any sort of action, you wince, you think, oh Jesus Christ, what's going to happen here? I mean, I just don't understand what he was complaining about, because I've watched it back many times, as has everyone else, and it just seems as though he was looking for any old thing to put the blame on, to complain about, and obviously you would. But there was absolutely no infringement. There was no foul. There was absolutely nothing wrong. He just got bested. He got absolutely done. I think it was Kudus who managed to, get the ball off him, and then ultimately, no, it was the pass back, but you know what I mean. Obviously, the way that the rest of the defense sort of, I said this as well, though. It's just like, you're under pressure, right? And minimal pressure. Like, there is obviously pressure there, but in that situation, in that position as well, it's not as though he's through on goal if he gets through. And if you think he is, poke it out for a throw. Even boot it out for a corner. Who gives a fuck? I know it's easier said than done, but he was under pressure for at least 2-3 seconds there. If you're really, really that under pressure, just kick it away, not towards the goal. I was saying this as well. 2 fundamentals of defending that you're taught as a kid. Don't pass it across the penalty area, and don't play it back to the keeper at a diagonal angle. It never bodes well. It's never bode well, ever. Anyway, elsewhere on the pitch, we saw Cole Palmer make an impact in the game. Jackson obviously went off with a bit of an injury, and Mark Guiu, who also has suffered an injury, came on in his place. I think Jackson could have come off a lot sooner, personally, but we played on anyway. Elsewhere, and it was I've got to say, it was somewhat of a masterclass from Enzo MARESCA, because he made substitutions. What a surprise. They actually made an impact. Pedro Neto coming off the bench, scoring. Pedro Neto crossing the ball in, leading to the Cucurella to Palmer, and Palmer off Wan-Bissaka and in. It's almost as if substitutions the sooner the better. You know, you can have late subs, you know, impact subs, super subs. It doesn't always work, and very rarely has it worked when we brought on Nkunku in the 90th minute, you know, Joao Felix in the 85th minute, Pedro Neto in the whatever minute. Our latest substitution was Trevor Chalobah, who I still don't know why he was dropped, but got Guiu at 52nd minute, Pedro Neto in the 52nd minute, Gusto in the 61st, Nkunku in the 61st. These are all really good substitutions. And I was arguing with people in the watch along, or one or two people, saying that why has he brought Guiu over Nkunku? And it's like I'm just not that impressed anymore by. And I know the argument is he barely gets to play, so he really rarely makes any sort of impact. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and whilst that is true, Mark Guiu, we know, is a player who will chase everything down, put 100% effort into absolutely everything that he does. Did he have a good game? I'd argue he had a pretty good game. Unfortunate to have picked up an injury. He seemed rather devastated coming off. It was a shame. So, I mean, inadvertently, if Jackson's out now, if Guiu's out now, Nkunku, he's the front man for a little while. So he's going to have to step up. He's going to have to make an impact. Whether or not he wants to be at the club, that's another question. You know, links to Bayern Munich over the Christmas window, over the winter transfer window. That's one thing. One thing I will say is the things that stand out to me. The two standout points for this game. Three standout points. Enzo Maresca. Sooner the subs come on, the better the impact. It's not rocket science, and that made, was rather evident in this game. We don't need Robert Sanchez. We actually came back from 1-0 down in a game and came on to win, which is remarkable. And Levi Colwill needs serious work. And I get it. He's 21. He's got a long way to go. But these are issues that we were not expecting from a player of his caliber, and what we were expecting from him from when we saw him at Brighton. And you know, just rather a common occurrence as well, these mistakes. Like there's no shock to me. Someone who was criticizing him 5 minutes earlier to then he makes one of the most dissassy sort of errors that you're going to see. The questions need to be asked. Enzo Fernandez in that transition as well. Or no, later on in the game, I think it was Kudus when he had his chance. Enzo Fernandez just walking back, rather frustrating to see as well. Obviously, Cucurella was massively out of position because he was doing the inverted role. You know, it goes on and on. I don't know how James got a booking. I really don't understand how James got a booking. For that scenario that we saw, there was hardly anything in it. You know, taking him after 61 minutes was probably a good idea. Keeping him fresh. He obviously picked up a bit of a knock. I don't know if there's any injury news on that situation, but overall, it had all the makings of a frustrating game with Graham Potter, you know, with this man right here, coming back and doing the inevitable, which was coming back to the bridge and beating the side that basically didn't work out for him, and you know the fans didn't. Whatever, you know the story. But apart from that, a resilient effort. You know, we got all 3 points in the end. It was a scrappy fucking result, and it's one that you kind of want to applaud the team, quite frankly, for seeing it through. It puts us back up against Man City by 2 points following their defeat the other day against Arsenal, and then Newcastle. They lost their game against Fulham. And so, you know, where they once leapfrogged us, we're now back in prime position, still in some sort of race between I mean, even realistically, it's bold to even suggest, but we are still in touching distance of Arsenal and Nottingham Forest for sure, but even Arsenal, I do think Liverpool are just going to run away with it now. But it is a case of, can we finish second, and if not third? If we can finish fourth, brilliant. Top four is an absolute must. And I was saying this as well in the watch along, and I think a lot of other people have said it as well over the last few weeks. If we do not get Champions League football, players specifically including Cole Palmer will not want to be here next season. He is not putting 2, 3, 4 years of his life on hold when he could be playing at the very, very top. He's going to fucking leave. So we need to go into this now. I mean, thanks to the sporting directors and all the other muppets that run the club, we didn't make any signings of any notable signings whatsoever. We got rid of plenty, but, signings absolutely zilch. So we'll see what we can do with the players that we've got. Obviously, we've got Brighton twice coming up next. And who else? We've got Brighton, Villa will be a pretty tricky game, I would suspect. And then we've got Southampton, Leicester, Arsenal, and Tottenham, then Brentford. So it's a lot of it, London derbies coming up rather soon. But between now and the Arsenal game, we've got Brighton, Villa, Southampton, and Leicester. All games that we can and should realistically either win or, at the very least, draw. Arsenal and Tottenham going to be absolutely mammoth games, that's for sure. With that said, let me know your thoughts about the game in the comments down below. Please like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. As always, my name is Harry, up the Chelsea, and peace.